Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So in the immortal words of Britney Spears, oops, they did it again. Now, if you think I'm talking about the fact that the U.S. government has finally gotten around to approving the TikTok divestiture, yeah, that too. But by the way, the chances of TikTok actually getting banned here are about as likely as Taylor Swift's album getting a bad review. It is possible, but it's so remote that it won't stop us from investing every dime we have in it. Anyway, no, what I mean by oops, they did it again is Google, who last week came out and, yes, they really did delay the deprecation of the third-party cookie for another year. I mean, at this point, Google just seems determined to make me look dopey here. I fell for their nonsense again. Come to think of it, it's funny. Google and my relationship is a little like that Britney song. They play with my heart. They got lost in the game, and they said, "You think I'm in love? I'm not that innocent." Yeah, let's get to it, shall we? What's their excuse this time, and what does it mean for marketers? Well, let's explore. This is a few minutes of what's new in marketing that might help you lead your business's strategy. Let's put on a little Britney and, yeah, let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with What's New in Marketing. It is What's New in Marketing, but most importantly, it's something important that we may think help you become a better leader. And if we can help you or your team with content marketing services, including custom training, consultation, ongoing implementation of your content marketing approach, get on over to Content Marketing Institute, fill out that form. Let's have a talk. All right. Anyway, for all of you who have been following along, yeah, this is yet another update we have for you on the disappearing third-party cookie. It seems to, really not be so disappearing after all. Last week, Google, for the third time in as many years, delayed the death of the third-party cookie in Chrome and once again complicated the ad industry's movement away from surveillance-based programmatic advertising. In a blog post on their privacysandbox.com website, which we've of course introduced you to before, Google said that they have, quote, recognized that there are ongoing challenges related to reconciling divergent feedback from the industry, regulators, and developers, and will continue to engage closely with the entire ecosystem, end quote. In other words, everybody thinks we're producing something that is entirely too self-serving, so we've managed to piss everybody off. So spoiler alert, well, we hope to do it again sometime next year. Anyway, given where they are now, I actually think that at this point, that's actually really unlikely. Now, why do I think that? Well, because in addition to Google announcing what they announced, the last Friday, the CMA, that's the Competition and Markets Authority, which I'm not going to lie, sounds a little bit like the Time Variance Authority in the Marvel comic books, but yeah, they're not all that different. Anyway, I introduced you all to the CMA the last time we talked about third-party cookies, and they are the UK governmental watchdog that's supposed to be watching Google's Privacy Sandbox effort and are basically like the referee trying to figure out how much of the efforts associated with third-party cookie deprecation are going to benefit Google more than anybody else. So they've had lots to say over the years as Google has been updating its efforts. But on Friday, the 26th of April, the CMA let loose with an update that now has almost 80 concerns rather than the 40 they had just a few months ago when we last chatted about this. So there you go. For every step forward, it seems like we're taking 2 steps backward here. I mean, most of the concerns they have just seem to suggest that Google is finagling how it handles third-party cookie deprecation to ensure that it can keep its own first-party data within its own ecosystem and basically use it as it sees fit. So keep in mind here that Alphabet, Google's parent company, reported earnings last week as well, and they crushed it, beating analyst expectations. Revenue is up, and the company even announced its first dividend. Advertising revenue across their ecosystem, and especially from YouTube, drove all this. So yeah, Google is definitely interested in making sure that whatever they do with a third-party cookie doesn't interfere with how they're making their money. So the CMA is basically saying, put on the brakes. Other advertising groups are like, hold up, let's figure out this some more. And advertisers are like, yeah, let's stomp on the brakes as well. We're in no hurry to get all this done. So what does all this mean? Well, Google is more than willing to pull over to the side of the road and sort out all the food they just bought at the drive-thru if it means it won't disrupt their advertising business. So what's going to happen? Well, in a word, nothing. The last time I reported on this, I said that recent research had found that 63% of advertising professionals believe that cookie deprecation would be pushed back to 2025. And that same research had said that many marketers just weren't doing very much about it. Well, they were right, I was wrong. I really thought Google was serious about this when they said that they'd already started some trials of the users of Chrome without the third-party cookie and that they'd really move forward with it. But here's the thing, media companies, well, they're moving ahead. They're quickly putting and securing their first-party data in order to build much better data and monetization strategies. I actually think that we could see another 2 or even 3-year delay on this, basically meaning that even as media companies start to move to cookieless solutions for advertising and brands start moving to their own first-party data solutions, well, we could easily see third-party cookie surveillance-type advertising continue to be a major player for the foreseeable future. The IAB Tech Lab CEO, Anthony Kotzer, was quoted as saying, quote, "This delay should not be seen as an excuse for the digital advertising industry to be complacent." But yeah, I think it actually does provide exactly that, because it's pretty clear here that with as many hurdles that they have to jump, Google and the industry just aren't going to be ready for it anytime soon. As for us, well, we're just going to keep at it. I mean, I'm still a huge fan of getting our own first-party data houses in order because, well, that's just a smart strategy in 2024. But now, I just can't get the Britney song out of my head. I mean, it might seem like a crush, but it doesn't mean I'm serious because to lose all my senses, that's just so typically me, says Google. And that, well, that's a few minutes of what's new in marketing. Remember, it's your story to tell. Don't expect Google to help you tell it. You get out there yourself and tell it well. I'll see you next week.